All right, guys, what's going on? It is Thursday morning, 6:15 a.m. I have a real busy day with my coaching sessions. I have some meetings out off site. My girl spent the night, so I'm a little bit speaking low because it's early. But we got a lot to talk about. We have a lot of fights to get into. There's fights tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. If you're new to the channel, I do live streams every day. If you want to see my edited breakdown, analyzed and predicted videos, go to my playlist called Fight Predictions. This week we have 2 uploaded. I'll be uploading 2 more as well. You could check out my predictions of the Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. fight, the rematch, as well as the Stats Don't Lie video I just uploaded yesterday. Jack Catterall versus Echo Essuman. That's up on the channel. We'll get into that shortly. We'll get into the updated odds. We'll talk about my steal of the week. There's a method of victory of the week, so I'm adding that to the list. We're going to do our long parlay. The goal is, so like I said, it's about 6:15 a.m. now. I'll only be able to stay on right now for about 45 minutes, and then I am booked from about 7 a.m. to about noon. So 5 hours. I got a bunch of stuff I have to do. My goal is to come back to you guys for another live stream. I usually do 2 live streams on Thursdays. I couldn't get the second live stream in yesterday either. I've been real busy with my coaching business. So as the channel is growing, look, coaching is my passion, so I'll never stop doing that. But we're working towards being able to do this as the primary in terms of building our channel, building our following, building the Discord. I do want to announce I have partnered with an Australian betting app. I know a couple of you guys were messaging me on Instagram, and you guys were kind of worried about like contracts and am I supposed to give away bad tips on purpose? And I was telling you guys, I'm super transparent. The betting app is called Dabble. I only get paid if you guys get paid. So the partnership is just they have access to my, they lean in on my brand, I lean in on their brand. And when I upload my picks on Dabble, the more I only get paid if I hit and if you guys copy my picks. And if you guys aren't on Dabble, if you're Aussies, I have that link, the link to sign up through me. It's on my Instagram. But other than that, we'll get this thing started. As you guys are tapping in, let me know where you guys are coming in from. I'm going to start here. Catterall versus Essuman. I'm going to talk about the most updated odds. I'm going to take your questions. If you guys have watched my Stats Don't Lie video, you'll know who I'm siding here. And let's get into this. I'm just going to keep it flowing because, like I said, I'm on a short schedule today. So money lines haven't shifted that much since yesterday. This is Sportsbet. I'm using Dabble, by the way, but I'm just using their interface because their interface is easy to navigate. So you might see the odds shifted slightly, whether you're in Australia using Dabble, Sportsbet, or Bet365, or whatever one you use. This is just for the functionality of my the live streams, just because I'm used to it. So Catterall on the money line at $1.49, meaning that if you just want Jack to win, 100 gets you your money back plus 49 bucks. The draw 16 to 1, and then Echo is 285. 100 on Echo gets your money back plus 185. So not quite a 2 to 1 dog. And if you guys are trying to break down style versus style, this is a stylistic contrast and matchup. And Jack, you have the southpaw counter boxer. He does really good things well when he's doing them well. Doesn't throw a lot of volume. I really like his backhand. We know that we just saw him when he took on Harlem Eubank. He won a technical decision. There was a couple of head clashes, and I think it went to the 7th. I had Jack winning almost every round, by the way. We live streamed that fight. We predicted and broke down that fight. If you're new to the channel, we try to do as many fights as possible here, just not the big ones. So Catterall's coming off that performance. This fight, he has recently moved up to 147. He's taken on Echo Essuman. Essuman recently, we saw him going into Josh Taylor's backyard and pretty much doing what he wanted with him. Josh had his moments. Essuman won a decision. They call Echo the engine for a reason. Output, volume, pace. So you're going to get an orthodox fighter in Essuman. He's going to be the naturally bigger guy versus Jack, who is going to be the counter boxer, precision, punch placement. I like Jack's game a bit more. I think Jack's game is a little bit classier. I think he's going to be a level above Essuman. I got to be honest with you. Watching their tape, watching their breakdown, I'm not going to say Echo is predictable, but there's adjustments that Taylor just wasn't making. It was almost like Josh Taylor wasn't seeing what was coming out in front of him. I just when you watch the Josh Taylor Echo fight, if you want to watch it again, I grew up playing all sports: football, baseball, basketball, boxing. Baseball was actually the one I was best at in terms of getting scholarships, playing at a higher level. And so I'm going to use a baseball analogy real quick. When Echo was coming in with his entrances and what he was trying to do with Josh, it was almost like Josh was a home run hitter, but he wasn't picking up the curveball. You know what I mean? It was almost like Josh was just sitting on the fastball and he wasn't able to read the pitches. And every time there'd be a curveball, Josh would be out on his front foot, or he would just get frozen and as the curveball was going across the strike zone, he'd just get frozen. The umpire strike three sort of thing. So he wasn't making adjustments. He wasn't making reads. And I'm not and Echo's offense isn't the most complex. You know what he wants to do. He tells you what he wants to do. I think Jack's going to be able to make those adjustments. You mix that with, I mean, say what you will. There is an argument to be had about Jack moving to 47, Jack being the smaller guy, Jack changing camps, Jack going to Philly, Jack working with Bozy. People would be like, oh, those aren't good things. I always say I like when fighters make those decisions after wins. We talked about it last week with Tiger Johnson, fired his head coach, Bernice Pennis, uh, Coach Prentice, and he had a great performance. It's different when a fighter's doing that after a win. Tiger was coming off that Janelson win, fired his head coach, and he looked fantastic against Nick. So Jack doing the same sort of thing, moving camp, getting new training partners at this stage of the career. He's only 32. In my opinion, if you look at his where he's been in career trajectory, he fought Taylor twice. The first fight was for the undisputed belt. They gave the fight to Josh. That was, I think, 2019. By the time he gets the Taylor fight again, Taylor wasn't a champion. My point is, though, to put a sort of bow on him moving to Philly for the camp. I think that's a good thing. I think that, and I talked about this in my Stats Don't Lie breakdown. I think that a guy like Catterall with going with Bozy, it's not going to be anything tactical. He might add a little bit of like, what the boys in Philly do, more offensively minded. I think another thing that gets overshadowed is Bozy. You know, when you change camps and you have a guy whose son is so naturally gifted as Jerron, the coaching could kind of get overlooked. I mean, somebody taught Jerron how to punch. Somebody taught Jerron how to sit on punches. Somebody taught Jerron punch angles, punch placement. It was his pops. I think a lot of that, the technique of how to sit on something, how to turn a punch over. When you watch Jack throw his backhand's already on point. I love his backhand. It's sharp, it's clean. When he's cooking, he's able to move, boot, and fire. I think what we're going to see is a little bit more of the knee flexion, bending of the knees when you're throwing it sitting down rather than just popping and exiting. Things like that, Bozy could, you know, help him out along the way. I'm gonna start saying what's up to the boys. That's my take on Catterall. I like Catterall in this fight. Before I start saying the what's ups, let's see what we already talked about the money line. Jack on points. I mean, the, Jack on points looks like that's the move. That's I'm taking Jack on the money line. So if you agree with me, Jack hasn't had a knockout, I think, since 2019. Neither guy has one punch knockout power. So if you like Echo to win, take him by decision. If you like Jack to win, take him by decision. I think this is great value, to be honest with you. $1.78 Jack on points. I mean, phew, that's great value. So that's what I'm going to be cooking. I got Jack on a parlay on the money line. $1.49 is, you know, for the boys who are big betters, I guarantee somebody's going to be in our Discord taking Jack on the money line, putting 1,000 or more on him. You get 50% back. Even if you're not a big better like that, if you're not betting heavy, Jack on the money line is great value as a standalone and also as a saucy parlay, man. You put Jack on your parlay like a 2, 3, 4 legger, that at 149 adds great value. Um, and then the points, 178. It's gonna be like I gotta be clear with this because I've heard boys on YouTube. I watch a few YouTube channels, and you know, almost all of them are saying they're not excited about this fight. I'll debate anybody who wants to come on this exact point. What I'm about to say, I'm more excited about Jack Catterall versus Echo Essuman than I am about Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Ben the rematch. I got to be honest with you, and the reason for that is Conor Ben versus Chris Eubank Jr. the rematch. The first one, it was exciting, but there wasn't a lot of boxing going on. It was a lot you saw there was a lot of, like, vitriol, no setup. It was just rock'em sock'em robots. From a coaching perspective, I'm watching that, and I'm seeing guys getting hit too much. I'm seeing a 36-year-old in Eubank Jr. just, taking way too many shots. I'm seeing a younger guy in Conor Ben just pretty much adhering to the fact that he's gonna cash out and make all this money on these fights and not really go after world titles. You're taking all those shots at 160 against a bigger guy when you should, up a couple weight classes. That doesn't age well for your body, recovery, longevity, all that sort of thing. When this fight got signed, I'm like, all right, when you look at the modern landscape at 147, when you look at what Essuman just did in Josh Taylor's backyard, a lot of people internationally really didn't know Echo Essuman. His style, he's 36. You already got a story there. A 36-year-old, never been a world champion, one or two fights away from fighting for a world title. There's a lot there. Catterall, in my opinion, is one of the best active guys at this moment who's never been a world champion. So a lot of stuff going on here with the modern landscape of 147 with Boots going to 54. There are some, opportunities for both guys, whoever wins this, to become a world champion after this fight. And a lot of people said that it wouldn't happen for Catterall, considering what happened after the loss to Taylor, and then the Arnold Barboza Jr. loss. Catterall could be undefeated. He lost two very close decisions. Even in my breakdown, I took ABJ to win that fight, but I was sweating it. Barboza Jr. boxed great. He just had a little bit more volume and a little bit more pace than Catterall, and I wasn't mad with the decision. I think Essuman is a level below Arnold Barboza Jr. I know it's at 147, different division. I just some a lot of Essuman's work over time, his rounds and his productivity, it looks alike. It looks the same. I think Catterall is a wise fighter. I think he's a smart fighter. I think he's going to be able to pick up on those entrances, and he's going to be countering Essuman. I think Jack's a level above. I think we're going to see a real good version of Jack. You put depending on who wins here, you put either Jack or Echo in there with a Rolly Romero, a Mario Barrios, the kid who just beat Crocker, Lewis Crocker, just beat Patty Donovan. Um, all those guys excluding Brian Norman Jr. just because BNJ, Norman Jr. is fighting Haney next week. 147, man, it's not that thick, it's not that deep. One of these guys could easily come out on top with a great performance and get a title shot and possibly become a champion. So I'm more excited about this matchup for all those things I just said than I am Ben and Eubank Jr. too. I'm gonna start saying what's ups. Mark Canales, Texas. Don't mess with Texas. San Antonio, the Riverwalk in the house. Keys B, yo, what's crack a lacking? I did see that. Keys, I did see that. Anthony Joshua. I commented on go to the I'll pull it up. Go to the rings post. This is Kiza, this is all you got to know about me real quick. I'm sure you already do. So we'll go to the rings post. They just posted this. – 18 minutes ago. Look at that comment I made. Yuck. That's all I got to say about that. Yuck. Adu, hey boys, Johnny, sign me off. Four leg parlay, Arobio Delgado. Yes, bro, let's go. You know what I feel about Landolfo, Rafa. Let's pull up. I got to show you something, boys. Something opened up for us with this Rafa Espinoza fight. There's money on the table, guys. Adu. We just can't get greedy. Sometimes we get greedy with, like, we add one extra leg when we should have just been conservative with our approach, right? But there's money. I'm going to show you how. I'm going to pull up that Rafa fight. Even though Ganai has never been stopped. Kagai's never been stopped. He's only had 2 losses. He's only 5'5", though. Rafa Espinoza's on a tear. So this is my, I'm taking Rafa by stoppage. People are gonna. I'm surprised those odds aren't more, considering Kagai's never been stopped. His best performance was a loss against Cool Boy Steph, but that was in 2020. Rafa Espinoza over the last 2 years since the first fight um, against Robesi, he's just been on a goddamn tear. He I don't want to say he came out of nowhere, but this version of Rafa, I mean, I don't see him slowing down. I think he does what he did against Vasquez, and he looks great. I think he should wear it. And Rafa's what, 6'1", Kagai's 5'5". I love this knockout prop here. And then if they let me get Delgado, Lindolfo, yeah, the odds are dropping. I told you guys, I got Lindolfo earlier in the week at $1.32, and Lindolfo could crack. Now Galaz is tough as nails. I'll let you guys know tomorrow which way I lean here. The version of Galaz who fought Medina in May in Tijuana, who got beat against Medina. People talk about, if we do a Johnny Says Boxing 2026 or 2025 Boxing Awards, the year in review, without a doubt, the greatest robbery is Medina versus Galaz. I know it's an obscure fight. I know a lot of you boys didn't watch it. Go watch that fight. It was 8 weeks after Galaz got brutalized against Subaru Matias. It was in Mexico. He shouldn't have even had a fight. It was the type of beating you take. The beating Galaz took against Matias, you take a year off. You do. You don't jump in 8 weeks later. Jumps in 8 weeks later in Mexico against a clubber named Medina with like 8 pro fights, 9 pro fights, and gets beat. Pretty much lost every round. He was stuck in the mud. It wasn't even like a war. It wasn't like, oh, this is a prospect that no one's heard of. It was like, no, Galaz has damage. He can't move. His brain isn't triggering and he's slow. You see that when guys have damage. Has he recovered? Anyway, they gave him the win. Somehow he got projected, he got propelled and to fight Lindolfo Delgado, who's legit. So, give me another 24 hours. I'm probably gonna take that. I'm probably gonna take that stoppage. I'm probably gonna take that $1.86 Lindolfo. So we'll see. That's something I really like. What it do? Echo isn't great. Yeah, I agree, Henry. I agree. I agree. I got Echo in this. To be honest, Jack only looks good against Josh Taylor's style. I watched up Regis. I don't trust his gas tank at 47. He was gassed by round 5. You think, wow, you think he was gassed against Eubank? I disagree. Hey, Johnny, happy Wednesday and Thursday for you. I have a question on FanDuel. When I place a bet, it gives me the option to accept odds mimic. I don't know that prop. I don't know that. I've never seen that, Dwayne. So maybe some of the boys on the chat could help you out. Hey, chat, you want to help Dwayne out here? I don't have FanDuel and I don't know accept odds movement. I think, you know, it's probably one of these things that allow, for instance, Dwayne, the only thing I've seen close to that is in sports bet. If I'm making my parlay in real time, let's say I'm doing like a 6-leg DGen parlay, right? As I'm making my parlay in real time, and then as I'm putting my money, my wager, when I hit make bet, I'll then every now and then, doesn't happen a lot, I'll get a yellow notification that says odds have changed on said fight. Do you agree with them? And then I always just go, yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I have close that's ever happened to me. I got jacked by UD. Nice. King time. Let's get the likes up, guys. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the subs up. Let's get into the Discord. Guys, if you want to get into the Johnny Says Boxing VIP membership, it's a couple bucks a month. That link is pinned here. I'll show you what it looks like. So this is our Discord. Let me give you guys a run around real quick. So we are up to 270. I want to get this up to 300 by, we should be able to get this to 300 by December. We started about 15 weeks ago. It's not just boxing either, guys. I got to give a shout out to Gil, my moderator. I woke up this morning. He really is on the ball with doing fight to fight threads and channels to where the boys could do film study. I'll show you what I mean. So these are my picks. So it's my steal. I've given you guys one so far. So I got to give about four more picks in there. This is my steal of the week. This is the bet slip feature where all the boys put all their bets in from all the sports. This is our MMA feature, our MMA channel. I know that's a lot of the boys. There's some people are eating in all these channels. I usually just stick to boxing and MMA. The NBA channel is always cooking. The American Football channel. So as you can tell, it's not just boxing. So there's great value. The best thing about this is when I get private messages from the boys who join and they're like, Johnny, I had no idea. This is so dope. It's the community we're building. So this is NHL. So this is a level 3 membership that I haven't promoted, but I launched. This is a level 3 fitness. So anyone who joins level 3, this is a private section within the private section. I become your coach because I'm a strength and conditioning coach. This is soccer. I don't know how that came up. And this is our boxing thread. This is the one. Okay. So on point. Ben is entertaining. He's not a good fighter. Money Meat says Jake might have CTE thinking he could beat AJ. This is the new section, guys. This is the value. Every week there's some sort of new value, but look at this. Shout out to Gil. Gil sets up these private channels: Vasquez versus Paredes, Suganon versus Johanna, Riakpo versus Welch, Davis versus. So you can see it's fight to fight. If I click on Catterall versus Essuman, then the boys are starting polls. What this is turning into, guys, what the Discord is turning into is sort of like, I don't want to say a Rosetta Stone, but a tool in itself that for the bettor and the gambler, you could lean on and use as a buffer and use as a tool and use as almost like an added element to your bets. You could go in there and it's very educational. It's moderated. There's no racism. Every now and then the boys get out of hand during fight night because it's bets, and when the boys get their bets dusted, you're gonna get emotional. But other than that, man, it's super copacetic with keeping things adult-like. So that's the Discord. You want to join the Discord, find out more. The link is pinned in the comment section below. Let's get back to these odds. More of the Prince. Arobio versus Donjeni. It is. Arobio is a big puncher. Donjeni is tough. Donjeni is a legit pro as well. I know that Adu has Arobio, and I know some of the boys are picking Arobio. I see Arobio winning for sure. Willy Wonka. Hey, do you see any knockdowns in the Eubank Ben fight? It's tough, man, Willie. I'm not a big knockdown prop guy in terms of betting my money on it. We saw them go 12 rounds prior. There were no knockdowns, right? So are we doing, statistically speaking, historically speaking, we go off of what we saw, but I could see a knockdown, man. So like in my breakdown on this rematch, I'm taking Connor Ben. I gave you guys in my stats don't lie video why I'm taking Connor Ben. I don't like a few major points, and it kind of will give you an answer here too. I don't for Chris Eubank Jr. I don't like how much damage he took in the first fight. I don't like that the fight was only 7 months ago. I don't like that he's 36, 37 years old. I don't like the weight cut. I don't like the rehydration clause. For how much damage both guys accrued, I mean, 7 months isn't a long time to recover. So that being said, the reason why I'm taking Connor is I think the approach is going to be a little bit different. Connor is going to avoid fighting Chris on the outside and mid range. Connor's wheelhouse is going to be on the inside in the pocket. Rather than head hunting right off jump, I think Connor is going to use, his body punches better. I think he's going to, limit his head hunting, break the body down. And if he breaks that body down and Eubank Jr. starts to fade a bit and starts adhering to that fight on the inside, and Connor kind of manages his gas tank a little bit more, being the younger guy, the quicker guy, the more athletic guy, I could see a knockdown to the body. Am I going to bet that? Probably not. I like Connor on the money line as the dog. I think those odds have been going crazy. Yeah. So Connor's my dog of the week. So 45. So I'm gonna not get greedy and, okay. Echo is not that skilled. He doesn't have knockout power. Definitely not gonna outbox Jack. Jack's gonna make him. I think Jack, you know what, King? I think Jack is gonna make Echo look basic. I do. People hate on Catterall, dude. I mean, um, I'm not. I kind of like. Look, uh, I don't mind Jet Watch it. Like, I like a sharpshooter. I like a guy who's accurate. I like a defensively sounded counter boxer with dude, the backhand dude is clean. I like it. Like I said, I'm not mad at how Catterall fights. I watch Jack versus Barbosa Jr. Rewatch that fight. It's just the thing is, I don't rate Echo like I rate Arnold. I took Arnold to beat Jack in that fight. We got him at $3.50, dude. Let's go. That was a good hit for us. Barbosa by decision was like 480, dude. If you are betting on Jack, the one hesitation you will have, which is fine, is the output. Rightfully so, mate. I get it. But that you're gonna have that, you know, you're gonna have that with any counter boxer. And Jack actually, statistically speaking, has more power than Echo. Echo will be the bigger. We've seen Echo get outboxed, guys. So watch the Harry Scarf fight. Echo Essuman got outboxed against Harry Scarf. We've seen him get dropped as of late. He got dropped against Cooper. He got dropped against Cooper in the ninth round, and then he stopped Cooper in the 10th. So he'll be the bigger dude, but that doesn't always translate. You know what I'm saying? So Echo would need more power to make this fight close. All right, you guys see it. We got to educate a chat here. And for all the newbies on this chat thinking that this isn't an echo chamber, King Ty and I don't always agree. Willy Wonka and I don't always agree. Um, and that's fine. We don't need to always agree, but we're seeing kind of like common points here in terms of boxing strategy and contrasted styles, and we're agreeing upon them. Jack getting drowned, better boxer, but not okay. And this makes my point even more. See, GMS put on the elect. We're kind of disagreeing, which is great. Jack's getting drowned, but when have we seen Jack Catterall get drowned though? Like he could easily be undefeated. Both of his losses are split decisions. I thought he beat Josh the first time. I don't think that's shocking. And the depending on how you're scoring those Arnold Barboza Jr. rounds, that could have gone either way. I've never seen. When have you seen Jack get drowned? See, I think Jack's the better boxer. I think he's the better fighter. Like in a street fight, I would take Catterall. We'll get there, Daniel. What's up, Vega? We'll pull those up real quick. I'm not gonna ever pick a guy. I'm never gonna just pick a guy because he has more volume, by the way. So to put a bow on this, like I will never pick a fighter to win just because he has more output. It's not. This isn't a cardio class, and this would be a great soundbite for GMS if he's right here. But this isn't like a cardio boxing class. You know what I mean? This is high level, world level. I just don't think Echo's on the world level. All right, so we got that card popping. That's that Stephen Butler card. I mean, this is the main event there. So my hesitation with this fight, like, all right, the money on this fight is obviously, if you know anything about Stephen Butler, this is the Canadian fight. He could crack. He could punch. But I mean, if I ever call anyone shinny, Butler's 5 losses are all by knockout. So if you like Butler to win, take him to win by knockout. And if you like Fanjo to win, take him to win by knockout. You know what I mean? So, but I like this prop. I'm gonna go here. Like I said, I'm gonna do a little cheeky prop parlay. One of them will probably get burned. Prop parlays are really tough to all come through. The minute you go more than 2 legs on a prop parlay, you're asking for trouble. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just being real with you guys. So I'm probably gonna do a Steven Butler knockout. I'm gonna do Catterall by decision, and I'm gonna do Rafa by knockout. Let's see what that pays. So I'm gonna do Steven Butler by knockout. I'm gonna go Jack by decision. I'm gonna just keep it at 3. Rafa by knockout. $100 on this. This will be my prop parlay, boys. This is free money. I'm gonna put action on this. I'm gonna put this in the Discord, and if you guys are watching this live, if you're catching on when I upload it, I'm taking this bet. This will be my method of victory parlay. I don't always do a method of victory parlay during the week because I don't. You can't really force it. But in terms of what this looks like, I really like that. Almost 3 to 1. Butler by knockout, Catterall on points, Rafa by knockout. I'm gonna play that. I see Echo imposing as well. Jackson himself has skills the average people don't see. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun fight. It's gonna be a fun fight. This is what King. I'm really excited to just see Bozy and Jack's corner. Uh, you know what I'm saying? I'll show you what I mean. You guys probably already seen this. I talked about this. Uh, so that's boots holding pads for Jack. I mean, just seeing that is pretty cool. Ennis is a true student of the game, man. This to me, this is just what boxing is about. You get a kid from the UK who, top of the mountain, who just moves to Philly like a non. This ain't no tourist spot. He ain't going to Philly for the beaches. He's going to Philly for the dungeon. He's going to Philly for Bozy. He's going to Philly for Jerron. He's going to Philly for the sparring partners. He's going to Philly for um, the brush, the rub. I love this. Like this to me is what 100% what boxing is about. This to me is why I'm excited for the Jack Essuman fight. At 32 years old, I don't see Jack going into this fight flat. I think I see Jack going into this fight energized and sharp. He looks sharp to me. Everything, the thing about just watch Jack. He doesn't waste things. Everything is boom, boom. Even his slips, it's so measured. Like, man, I look at a guy like Catterall boxing. Like I'm a nerd for the technique though. Everything he does, every, and Bosey's just gonna just keep tightening that. He took Jack here. I bet you by fight night, Jack will be like here. I thought Jack looked good. I thought Jack looked good against Harlem. I'm not like the Harlem dude. He looked good. He was coming out more aggressive against Harlem. He boxed well against Barboza. Look, people are never going to give a guy who's not a knockout artist his just due. I think that's Dara Foley. Dara Foley used to train at the gym at Bondi Boxing Club. Dara's not on his level, but We'll see. I mean, yeah, I've never once looked at Jack and thought he was washed. I don't think Jack, see, this is where we would disagree. I don't think Jack went to Philly to adapt to anyone's style. I don't think Jack is going went to Philly to and if you've ever boxed before, you would know in 6 weeks a fighter doesn't go to another coach to change styles. He didn't do it for that. He needed a new look. Sometimes you need to change your sheets, man. Sometimes you need a new blanket, a new quilt. Sometimes you need to, wash those pillow covers, that sort of thing. You need a new bathroom set. He didn't go in there to change the whole bathroom up. He just went in there to get a little bit of a touch up. I think that little bit of a touch up for a guy 32 years old, whew, sometimes just a little bit of paint job, that's all you need. You don't need a whole new style. We don't need to buy a whole new whip. We already got the wheels on that joint. The whip's paid for, clean too. We just, let's just add a little bit of paint to it. Ooh, I see GMS now just trying to GMS, I feel you, bro. I know what we all do this in the betting world. You put money on the fight and you want to reason with yourself, but it's all good, baby boy. I still support you. We don't have to agree on everything. You forget Echo was getting whooped in the yeah, dude, Echo was getting tapped too. I like it. Dwayne Styles, thank you. Shout out to you, sir. Psychology used by Brian Jack's question of ability. I don't agree with that. I think if a guy was questioning, I think if a guy was questioning his abilities as a boxer, he wouldn't change. You know what I'm saying? I think for the fact that Jack is went to Philly, that shows me that he's into personal development. A man who admits that he has flaws and can get better is not a man who's questioning himself. That's a man who has drive. See, I'm not a fan of motivational speakers. I don't believe in motivation. I don't think anybody I think motivational speakers are con artists, by the way. I think the difference between being motivated and being motivated is external. Somebody being motivated is like a drug. Somebody tells you some, oh shit, you leave and you're all hype, and then you fucking, what'd you leave from the motivation? What'd you get? You got nothing. The motivational speaker gave you a little bit of a drug to spike your endorphins. And then once it wears off, you got nothing. But being driven becomes ingrained in your DNA. Being driven happens through your daily habits, your your day-to-day processes. So for a man to make a change, that shows me that he is into his personal development, that he has room for growth. At this in this sport, nobody wants to stand on a platform and say I'm perfect. The minute you claim you're an expert in anything is the minute you stop learning. That to me is a psychologically damned man. A man who changes, who wants to go lean in on a totally different environment and become vulnerable again at this stage of the game, that's a dangerous man. That's a man who's willing to go into the wild with no weapons and try to survive. That's Jack going to Philly. I love that about him. To me, that's psychologically, a good thing. Sunday morning rain is falling. I do. I think Butler wins. I think Butler by knockout. John McGann, appreciate you. We'll get to Ishmael Davis. We got time. We might not get to Ishmael today. I'll pull it up real quick. I want to catch up with the boys. Mar playing cat money line to be safe. He does got sneaky pop. That sneaky timing. Guys, notice when we're watching Catterall versus Echo, something to look out for. This is the coach in me. Watch Jack's back leg. Uh-huh. Watch the bend in the back leg. Bing. Sometimes it's that little bit. Watch when Boots sits on his shots. Boots is a beautiful, Boots is painting a picture when he's fighting. But disregard who he fought. He looks in between the second and third knockdown. He looks at his corner. Bozy gives him the go ahead. Squares back up and he bends that knee. It's bending. It's almost like if you ever ridden a dirt bike or a motorbike, you have that kick. Boom, boom. Power comes with that kick. DJ Green in the house. DJ Grizza. There's a lot to talk about Nikita versus Rafa. We'll get to that. We got till January. January. Ezra Taylor against Willie Hutch. Damn, we got the Lord, Father, God, and we got the devil. This is definitely PJ. PJ, guys, I gotta wrap it up. I'm gonna wrap it up now. You're gonna see me again. I appreciate the support. This was a good one. This was a good chat. A shout out to Put on the Elect. We had a good chat. I like that back and forth. Always doing it respectful. Let's get this money. I'll see you guys in the next one.